Namaste to all of you and good evening. Thank you, Dr. Madheswaran, for the introduction, and also Usha Nandini for organizing this talk on autism. The talk is about how we can diagnose and treat successfully. We all know that autism is a complex lifelong neurological condition which affects the way a child communicates, how the child interacts with others, and also how it processes whatever information it is getting from the environment. So I'm not going to focus too much on the symptoms which everybody knows. That is, there is a delay in speech development. Then there is learning disability. Some of them are depressed. Sleep disorder is one major issue. Most of them are like to be alone with themselves. And some of them may have some episodes of epilepsy. And some of them exhibit very strong hyperactivity, compulsive disorders, etc. So what in our experience we have seen is it can be treated completely and cured if the time of intervention is before 5 years. This is because all of our brains set the neurons by 5, almost 70 to 80%, and that's why in Tamil there is a proverb, Anjil valayadadu, Aimbadil valayadu, meaning by 5, what is not changed in the behavior will not be changed until 50. So that proverb is very true from the neuroscience point of view. But don't lose hope. That doesn't mean nothing can be changed. Yes, there is still 20 to 30% remaining. At any age, we can bring a change. Now, what is the cause of autism? We see that autism is skyrocketing and it has become like a normal disease symptom with many children that are born now. The first question we always ask is, more than 15-20 years I have been involved in the autism children, and the first question we ask is, was there stress in the pregnancy period? Most of the mothers say yes. Stress also could be emotional, nutritional, and chemicals they are exposed, the type of medical interventions like antibiotics, all that, and also even the delivery mode, all that affects. But some of them say, no sir, my pregnancy was very, very ease and there were no stress. Then the next thing is, we ask us, okay, we know that's a major cause, but then there are other causes which if that was not the issue, then it will be after pregnancy. If the child had been exposed to stress, again nutritional issues and chemicals that are being exposed to the child. So meaning emotional stress if the child was not along with the parent, and all those emotional stress also cause. Then some of them say, oh, no sir, the first there was no stress, second as you said was no stress. Then the third is what we have heard from most of the other parents is, yes, vaccination was an issue. Now they say yes, till 2 years the child was normal, and then when we gave a booster dose or a vaccination, immediately then there was a high fever, and after that the child lost eye contact. I did not notice, but my parents, that is a child grandparents, noticed, and then there was suddenly the child was showing abnormal behavior and the speech stopped. All these issues come after vaccination, and these are all published information in scientific journals. But now lately, from after COVID period, there is answer coming up why not all children vaccinated have this problem. Many parents says, no sir, if that is true, my first child only had and the second child did not have. They both were vaccinated and all. And now the answer comes with gut microbiome, especially after COVID vaccination, why some people develop other issues after the COVID vaccination, and now they're tying up to gut microbiome. So if a child had poor gut health, and that's where it comes to stress of the mother or the child during pregnancy or after pregnancy, stress will completely change gut microbiome. Of course, nutrition, refined toxic foods, adulterated foods, nutritionally deficient foods, not only in vitamin and minerals, most important is polyphenols and toxic chemicals. All this will change the gut microbiome, and how a person or a child will respond to vaccination then will cause a serious problem to the brain. Now, what are the symptoms usually ignored by most of the parents is, first we know from almost 99.99% of the parents is, yes, there was a lack of sleep. The child had difficulty in sleeping, and they did not make that as a huge issue. They tried to make the child occupied with something, and either TV, mobile phones, video games, all this, they allow the child to have some activity, and they do not know or did not know that this is going to be a major problem in their brain development. Not only autistic, even any child, there are several studies done 40-50 years back, even in animals. If a cat was, there was a very interesting study. Cats were put the kittens were put in a small cage where there were only horizontal lines. Another group of kittens were put in a cage where there were vertical lines. And then when they, after a time period, they had difficulty in adjusting to the environment because they have been programmed to look only at one thing, that is the vertical lines or the horizontal lines. So all these are a serious issue. Till age of 5, one has to be very careful, even with an autistic or even a normal child. Then the third is the stool changes, that is gut dysbiosis. Most of the parents tell, yes, the child had constipation, difficulty in passing stool, or the color was different, but we did not pay much attention to them. These are the serious things that we should be spreading out, telling that if these are the issues till age of 5, we should be concerned about it. Now all this has come back to a beautiful, the module where they understand that it is a brain-gut axis. So our gut, meaning in the large intestine, there are millions of bacteria that actually control all our physiological and genetic aspects. Even human genetics is overpowered by the bacterial genetics in the gut, which is the large intestine. So the brain is actually behaving according to the gut. So I remember even when I was a child, if myself or my cousins had some behavioral issues, short-tempered or anger or agitated behavior, my parents or my grandma used to say it is time for giving gallnet cleansing or castor oil cleansing. And I used to think that was a punishment at that time. But now I understand that how they were intelligent to understand that there is some connection with the gut and the brain. So now modern research are throwing light that the traditional knowledge is correct. So here you can see that the neuroendocrine immune system and the hormonal and how our brain brain chemicals, all neuromodulators, everything is based on the gut brain axis. Now, that is why this field has emerged now for autism. Bad luck for children who are born 10 or 20 years back. They were not being exposed to these type of testings, but now for past 4 or 5 years, this has become the major thing to look at. They say that there is a dysbiosis, meaning there is always a good and a bad bacterial population in the intestine, and if there are more bad bacteria, then there is severe autistic symptoms going up, and that is connected to inflammatory markers. And these bad bacteria are producing toxic metabolites, and they are going to completely whack the brain functioning. So that's what we see here again. These are the reasons why autistic things happen. So pregnancy, prenatal stress, as we were thinking for many years, now we see more scientific data is proving what we were doing with unified treatment, infection, chemicals, microbiota from the maternal diet. All these are important factors. Again, now more recent medical journals bring out this part about the vagal nerve. So if you could feel your neck, so from the brain in the back, there is a important nerve that is going on, and that is called vagal nerve. And if that is stressed, then that could severely impact how our brain functioning is there. Even for a normal person, when we are stressed, or if you're sitting on a computer like me the whole day, I also feel that vagal nerve is severely compressed, and I also experience these symptoms of sleeplessness. Then when that vagal nerve is relaxed, then the symptoms disappear. And I am astonished that if I did not know this, then I would be having severe stress related issues. But knowing all this, it is helping me, and I am also able to relate with autistic children and other adults that it is very important to take care of two things: the stress part and the dietary part. So now what are the treatments that most we can find from the medical field is they are also understanding mitochondrial dysfunction is very important, but most of these tests are not offered in common labs. I'll come to that part. And autistic brain, as you know, antisocial, less responsive, poor eye contact, trouble understanding, playing alone, all that. Now they are saying with special diet it improves. These problems can be rectified with nutritional supplements, antioxidants. They even use different milk like camel milk and hormones. But now it is not that don't immediately everybody rush to buy camel milk. It is because the A1 milk that we are commonly using all over the world, that is causing severe gut dysbiosis and also autistic behavior. So A2 milk is buffalo, sheep, goat. Human milk, of course, is A2. Camel is also A2. So that is why now children are asked not to be fed with A1 milk but go for A2 milk. Then of course herbal medicines and opioid like herbs are given to correct the children, and of course gut, oral, and if it is female, the vaginal microbiome is also taken care. So in altogether, this is what is emerging now as a latest treatment: prebiotics, probiotics, and only necessarily antibiotics are used. Phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals, all these are being now the latest intervention for treating autistic and other psychological diseases in children that is now seen more. Now again, there are many papers that are published as vagus nerve stimulation as a potent adjuvant to behavior therapy for autism and other neurodevelopment disorders. Keep this in mind because I will share an experience that I had with Dr. Madheshwaran in treating an autistic child almost like now it is 17, 18 years or 20 years earlier. And you can see that in those days when these were not even discovered, we were able to do with a unified treatment. So as I mentioned, this vagal nerve is connected to all the organs. So that is why when there is stress, it affects all the parts of the brain and also heart, lungs, liver, gallbladder, stomach, spleen. All the rest of the body is completely be connected with the vagus nerve. Yoga and exercise are all connected to vagus nerve. And now more people in US also have started to talk about vagus nerve and autism, and they are recommending that just some speech therapy or some type of treatments or nutritional supplements alone will not help an autistic child. That is where many parents get disappointed, they're frustrated with autistic child because they don't see any improvement with all these interventions. The reason is very clear. It is not holistic. Just doing some pills, taking some pills or brain medications, that is not helping, and that's the reality now coming up. So as I mentioned earlier, brain is not talking to the gut, and the poor vagus nerve function might be a cause. Now again, coming to our tradition, Ayurveda and Siddha, they always have connected the brain-gut axis, and not only that, music and humming sounds, which are now known to stimulate the nerves. So even when our mother used to do the sleeping songs, lullaby, you will recollect that they will use the humming sound. That humming sound, when our mothers used to make the child sleep, this was produced, and that has a very strong effect on the child and the brain functioning. So now there are various methods they are told to stimulate vagus nerve: exposure to cold or slow and deep breathing, meditation, regular exercise. Massage is very, very, very important. So in our tradition, as soon as the child is born, even in a second day or third day, medicated oil massage is given both to the mother and the child. Most 99% of the children now who are born now, they don't get this massage, and that is one of the major reason in increasing in autistic behavior. And we also use that for the treatment intervention. So singing and chanting, intake of probiotics, being socialized, all this also bring a huge change in the the vagus nerve stimulation. Now more research are coming into polyphenols, which are the medicinal compounds that will modulate the gut bacteria. So polyphenol rich food will allow more good gut bacteria to grow. So avoiding sweets in US, because I and my wife and our son, we were in US for almost 20 to 25 years. There now mostly they will say do not give sweets to children because they'll become more agitated, and that is because of the refined sugars. When they are given, then these bad bacteria will grow because they do not have polyphenols. So polyphenols will suppress bad bacteria and will allow good bacteria to grow. So that is where just giving antioxidant pills or supplements, that they do not really help significantly the autistic spectrum disorders. Initially one will find some change, but after that there is no big change. That is because of that. And we also see that more of MDA, which is oxidative stress. So in our body, we breathe oxygen, but it causes oxidative damage, and that is called melanaldehyde. And that, when increases in the blood, we see many diseases, especially with autism also. That is what I have shown here, where antioxidants, polyphenols are low, and the reactive oxygen species, if they become more heavy, out of balance, then oxidative stress comes. It will damage all our fat, protein, DNA. Then you can see that they are attributing that to pathogenicity and clinical development of autism. So then neurological and immunological factors, everything come into play. So this is the nutshell of the reason why autism arises. Now it is definitely 100% curable if we do in the right way. As I mentioned earlier, in 2007 we started Unify School in Sendurai village in Tamil Nadu, India. And at that time, I think it was 2007 or 8, Dr. Madheshwaran will correct me if I am wrong. In 2008, a lady, she was a daily wage lady, meaning she was going for a daily wage job. So she brought her 3-year-old male child and left in the school for her to go to work because that was her livelihood. So Dr. Madheshwaran noticed the child and he rightly diagnosed that the child has autistic symptoms. He told the mother, but the mother said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what disease you're talking about. I don't know anything, sir. You take care of my child. And she left as usual for her work. So Dr. Madheshwaran and I, we discussed, and with the help of the teachers and the helpers at Sendurai school, this child was completely cured of this autistic symptom. And you will be surprised what we have done is exactly what now modern research is proving, that we did the castor oil cleansing. We made the child to do castor oil cleansing to remove the bad gut bacteria. Then we took the rich soil microbe from a deep well. It will be red in color where human touch was not there. And then that we applied in the end of the spinal column, which now you can all understand it is a tip where the vagus nerve ends. And there we apply a little high amount, and then the rest of the body was completely smashed with this earth from the deep well all over the body. And I think the child was allowed to lay on a banana leaf for almost 30 minutes. And then a hot water shower was given. Every day the helpers and the teachers were very kind enough to give fermented rice every day to the child. It is very obvious it was the changing the gut microbiome, and once the gut health improved, the child, all the autistic symptoms vanished. Not only that, herbal oil massage again was given, again for the vagus nerve and all the body lymphatic circulation and blood circulation. Stress was relieved and the child was sleeping very, very well. Then of course, most important is the hand activity. That time we had more Montessori tools and very limited Unify tools. But the child was exposed to lot of hand activity and different type of hand activities, which you can observe when you visit the Unify schools. And of course, no stress, no force, because a mother also was not interfering with anything. That was a key thing. So we did not force the child to learn, read or write, but gave complete relaxation, allow the child to mix with all the other children. And you will be surprised that after 2 years being in the Unified School, at the age of 5, the child was taken by the mother, and in the government school, the child was put in first standard. The teachers complained that the child is too intelligent, too focused on whatever they are saying, and they cannot handle, so they have to double promote to the next standard. So nobody knew that the child was once autistic. They thought it is a normal, super intelligent child. So this is the brief history we have on how we treated, and now we have very much advantage with the AMMAGENOMICS lab. So now the question is, how do we treat and how are we now treating autistic children? So again, the first is diagnosis. The stool samples will tell what is the percentage of good and the bad bacteria, and that's how we can understand gut dysbiosis. Samples from all over the world come in our patented tubes without being spoiled. And we also do blood bacteremia, because we know that autism comes because of leaky gut, and from the gut, if it is got into the blood, no matter what treatment is given, nothing will be visibly noticed. That is because of blood bacteremia. We are proud to say one of the rarest tests we do this. I don't think anywhere in the world they are doing blood bacteremia, but there are some universities who have done in the research level, but I don't think any other labs are doing. Then of course blood inflammation markers we do. For mitochondria we do the cell-free DNA test, that is also rarest test we do, which is only in the academic labs. And the saliva samples are tested for oral dysbiosis, because lot of information is pouring out from the research and medical field that oral bacteria dysbiosis will have a serious effect on autism, because knowingly or unknowingly we are gulping almost 1 liter to 1.5 liters of saliva to our gut. So these are all important tests to be taken, not just taking only test of some vitamins, metabolites. Those are all the end things, but we are looking at really the root cause. So AMMAGENOMICS is focused really not on finding and proving that the child has autism by doing all the tests. We are actually looking at the root cause. That is our strength. So polyphenols, antioxidants, MDA, all these type of tests we do so that we really understand what is the root cause of the disease. So again, all this comes now again to what most of these medical journals are reporting, that neuroexcitation, neurotransmitters imbalance, oxidative stress, all this contribute to autism with the high rates of inflammation. And the brain seizures, all these are can be diagnosed. We do all these panel of tests, IL-6, IL-10, all this panel, and so we clearly know what is actually happening in the child's brain through these tests. Now comes the next part, not only diagnosis, we are in the advanced level of treatment also. Again, it is not just giving some probiotics and some speech therapy. It is involving a holistic, comprehensive treatment, which will include gut cleansing, as we have done for the earlier child, natural probiotics, not supplements, because it is more holistic, A2 milk and ghee products, and unrefined organic foods, trying to avoid toxic food, and gut healthy foods. Then there are traditional, mind relaxing traditional foods and herbs, very mild they are. I don't know whether in people in Tamil Nadu they will be remembering that only in school places we will see jujube seeds, and these are the popular, even I have eaten, and now they are saying that these are all good brain modulators. So these type of mind relaxing foods, and only when it is needed we give herbs. And the next part is the hand activities. That is a very, very important thing, because from a monotonous single activity, too focused and too lonely seeking nature is completely transformed with a multitude of hand activities we expose these children at UNI schools. Along with that, they will be learning more social skills, language skills, communication skills in UNI schools, and mixed age group interaction. Now that we have to thank Dr. Madheswaran and his teachers team, who are very patient to allow even these challenged children with the normal children. This is a very significant feature of UNI schools. In most of the schools, they don't like to handle these type of challenged children with the normal group, but here we allow, and it is very good for these challenged children, because they don't feel they are separate, they are something different, but they are all normal. And the normal children also develop very good qualities like empathy, being very helpful, and these actually help each other. So that is why we are doing that. And another major thing is we counsel the parents. First, you have to accept there is a challenge with a child, but don't worry, it will be healed. And don't rush up that the child should immediately be like the other children. Give them some time and you be less anxious. Don't immediately force school education syllabus on the children. First, let them correct their autistic behavior. Then whatever you give, any age they will pick up and they will be in par with the normal children. So these three approach along with the prognosis part is very, very important. Most of the treatments they don't follow up, but we strongly follow up with the prognosis part. Repeated tests are needed. Even recent times we have helped very agitated children to become normal and can even interact with other children and elders who are very abusive just because of the treatment, that is the diagnosis, treatment and prognosis. So the objective is of this talk, we have to tell very important message to the parents. Do not hold on the child like this. Make them independent before they reach adolescent age. Otherwise, the parents will have lot of physical challenge, stress taking care of this child, and also emotional distress comes as parents near old age. They become more worried what will happen after their time. That is where AMMAGENOMICS and UNIFY will help these children. Now, to end, I have to tell, most of these children will have high intellectual abilities or high intellectual disability. Sorry, I didn't put the word disability. So, no matter what it is, we have to understand every child has its own strength, its interest and potential. And unified schools are for bringing out that strength, interest and potential in their own pace. So these are the numbers you can use to contact us, and also go to the AMMAGENOMICS website. You will have a lot of information about these tests, and if you have questions you can always contact us. And in UNIFY we have a good team with Dr. Madheshwaran offering many of the UNIFY courses in Zoom and also in person. He's a good counselor. And also we have Usha ma'am giving very good pregnancy courses so that we can avoid all this autistic or any other health issues for giving birth to a healthy child. And also UNIFY health courses. And we have Nilima madam giving excellent gut health courses, and many more courses are going in the pipeline, which will definitely help to overcome these challenges that we face now.